Thank you, Your Honor. So when I was invited to speak about estate planning and they told me I had 15 minutes, I was like, what? Like, how can I do this in 15 minutes? Then I saw the agenda, and I saw that I was going right after my husband's presentation, and I was like, all right, y'all. Like, I have to go after that. I have to do it in 15 minutes. And so I also had slides up there, but I too pivoted because I said, you know what, 15 minutes is not a whole lot of time to get this done. So let's just have a conversation, especially in this intimate setting that we're in. So hello, everyone. I know that I'm the one standing between you and lunch, and I don't want to keep you here long. So my name is Carmen Scott. I am a shareholder at Seringhouse & Scott Company, LPA, where my practice focuses on estate planning, asset protection, and elder law. I'm here today to remind you, because I'm sure you know, that men's health includes legacy. Protecting your family through estate planning is part of that health wellness. It's more than just physical that you have to worry about, right? True wellness means making intentional choices today that is going to help your family and secure your family's legacy tomorrow. So I am not going to walk the stage. I am going to stay right here at the podium, and I am going to have this conversation with you. So estate planning is a vital piece of men's full life fitness because your legacy is just as important as your strength, your endurance, and your overall well-being. So you've heard today on this stage impactful and powerful conversations about financial wellness. You've heard about career success, about how being your authentic self sometimes creates stressors in your life. You will dive into relationships and fatherhood and what that means and that part, the part that it plays in your overall health. So now I'm going to bring it all together for you, right? And I'm going to try to do this very short, sweet, and succinctly. Estate planning is a piece that's often overlooked, right? Protecting your family through estate planning is essential. And it's essential because it's just like protecting your health, your money, and your relationships. You heard Larice stand up here, and one of his first questions was, who has a will, right? And I was looking around the room to see the people that put their hands up. And if you don't have a will, you're in the right place, and you stayed for the right conversation because I can help with that. So what is estate planning? A lot of times people come to my office and they say, I want a will, because they think that that's what estate planning is. So let me tell you that estate planning is a two-pronged process. So number one, it's the process of addressing who makes decisions for you if you can't make them yourself, either through health, healthcare decision-making, or financial decision-makings, right? So while you're here on this earth, if you do not adhere to some of the, discussions that were had here today, if you're not doing your screening, if things go wrong in your life, who is going to make those healthcare decisions for you? And who's going to make those financial decisions for you, right? So during your lifetime, what does that look like? The other side of estate planning is what most people know, right? Is who's going to get my stuff, right? When I pass away, when I'm no longer here, how are my assets going to be distributed to my heirs, my beneficiaries? Essential documents to have. We talked about, and I saw Heidi, who is here, and I have to give her a shout out there. But advanced directives, so healthcare powers of attorney and living wills. Those documents are free documents. There's no excuse why everyone in this audience should have those documents. You can literally Google. I mean, we live and die by our phones, so we have direct access to those documents. I know Heidi usually carries them with her. She's happy to help. I'm happy to help get those documents in good order with you. But those are the documents that are going to name or nominate the person that's going to make healthcare decisions for you. Guys, things happen unexpectedly, right? Have these documents. There's no excuse. You don't even need an attorney to do them. They're free. So complete these documents. Similarly, the financial power of attorney, having someone in place to make financial decisions, to continue the household. I know that this is a man's summit, so usually the providers of the house, who's running the house, what happens if something happens to you? Can your spouse, can your significant other continue to run your household, right? Do they have the authority to pay your bills, do your banking, all of the things that have to do with money? So having a financial power of attorney. And then, yes, of course, a will and a trust is part of that, right? But importantly to me, it's like that stuff will figure itself out. Not that I'm asking you not to do anything, but what happens to your stuff when you pass away? Well, people are going to show up, right? People are going to show up to get your stuff. Importantly is what is going to happen when you're here if you're not able to make decisions for yourself financially and as far as your health is concerned. Equally important is how your assets are titled. Laurice talked about home ownership, about things to make sure that we're passing on generational wealth. So making sure that your accounts, your assets have designated beneficiaries to them so that you're avoiding probate court process. The probate court process is the process that administers your will, that goes through the courts, that costs money, that costs time. That is the way you're going to get assets to your beneficiaries if you have not done the work beforehand, if you've not named beneficiaries to your assets. So again, oftentimes men are the providers of their households. You are in charge, if you think biblically speaking, right? You're the leaders of the home. So you have all this extra stress. You have stress for finances. You have stress for career demands, family responsibilities, uncertainty about the future. Ignoring planning, ignoring having these documents done just adds to that stress. Life is unpredictable. We talked about that, earlier, is that things happen. We can't control when things happen. So planning will reduce stress. It avoids conflict. I can't tell you how many times clients come into my office, families come into my office where everyone hates each other, right? Everyone just hates each other. Oldest child hated younger child because younger child got everything, and oldest child had to figure it out and struggle. Maybe things weren't in good order, and mom or dad, were divorced. It's a blended family. All types of situations. Avoiding family conflict through planning is going to help your family minimize those conflicts, especially when they're supposed to be grieving or when things are going wrong and there's a time for the family to pull together. Ensuring that your assets in your home and all your investments are passed down, right? We talk about generational wealth and making sure that we take into account what generational wealth looks like. I can't tell you how many times, houses are passed down from generation to generation, which is great. But when you look up the deed, or when I look up the deed to try to put this house in a trust to protect it from like long-term care costs, Medicaid, whatever that looks like, there's no clear title, right? Because it's still in grandma and grandpa's name. So there's nothing I can do unless I'm opening up an estate that of someone who died maybe 15 years ago. Not efficient, not economical, not economically makes sense. And in order to pass that asset along, now you're spending more money to do that. So plan for the incapacities, plan for, those accidents, maybe those illnesses that can happen at any age. I think one of the misconceptions are that estate planning is for older folks, or estate planning all of a sudden means that you are leaving this earth. I don't have that power. I don't think any estate planning attorney has that power. And if they tell you that they do, by virtue of creating these documents, that your number so-called is going to come up on some board and you're going to pass away the next day, then you probably shouldn't be in that attorney's office. Planning is what we need to do to make sure that our families and our affairs are in good order, just like we plan for anything else in our lives. So if we're looking to protect our children and our family, I urge you to take estate planning as seriously as you do your health, your endurance, your fitness, all of those things. So call for action. What I will do is I'll make sure that my contact information is provided to the attendees. And so the call for action would be to schedule a consultation, and anyone that mentions this conference or this summit will get a 30-minute courtesy phone consultation with me to talk through what maybe you need in your life as far as estate planning. And then just remember that legacy has to do with a lot more than just your health. It has to do with making sure that your family is in good order and that your assets are in good order, and that generational wealth gets transferred from generation to generation. And that is all that I have.